Alright guys, welcome back. In this video I wanted to talk more about equity and how it can make your game invincible. For a long time I was more of a feel player, as it discusses in this article, more of a math player. While my background is in computer science and math, I still just kind of, after watching all of the poker videos and reading the books, just relied more on my instincts rather than being more of a math player. And it's good to be both. You want to definitely have good instincts, good discipline, and it's important to be both a good field player and a good math player. So equity just refers to the portion of the pot that's yours based on the likelihood you are to win the hand, the percentage, at any point in time. So before the flop, on the turn, and on the river. And I've been using GTO Plus here. Excuse me. So in the past I've been using the Equity Trainer in Equilab, but I'm not a big fan of the layout. It's a bit, 1990s, so you go like this. You set your opponent's hand range to, let's say this, and we set our hand range to this, and you do some training. So I'm just not a big fan of the layout here. A little higher. But it does the job. What I really like here with GTO Plus is calculating the equity. So here I loaded a bunch of flops in the tree here. 34 different flops. Here's my opponent's hand range, 21%. And so you calculate this using a HUD. And once you get some hand samples, you know if your opponent is playing 20% of hands, 30% of hands, 40% of hands. So this is a standard 20%, 21% range. It could include this, or possibly something like that, some suited connectors in here. But this is pretty standard for 21%, and our button range is going to look like this. And I apologize for the loud background noise if you can hear that. So here's our hand range, the button. This is from Mastering Small Stakes by Jonathan Little. I really like this hand range chart. And what I've been doing is running it in here. Let's see, set that. Okay, so rather than using Equilab, what I like to do is, if you press F8 here, it gives you different hands. So I like the layout a little better, a lot better than Equilab. So you can show the equity here. So if you go like this, it instantly gives you the equity against your opponent who has the hand range of 21%. In early position hand range. And so what I'm just going to be doing here is calculating the equity on the flop, turn, and river for a few hands to show you guys how you can practice improving your equity instantly. There's no time. If you're playing 4 tables, 6 tables, you're not going to be doing the math to calculate your exact equity. You just kind of want to run thousands of hands, and after a while you'll be able to predict or estimate the equity within about 5%. So let's run some examples. Also with EV, like here you can instantly see the EV. This is, you're not going to have time to calculate, so you just kind of have to go off instincts. If you do these enough times, these scenarios will come up again, and you'll instinctively, so that's where the field player comes into play. You don't have to calculate for each time. If you've done it before, you just kind of rely on your instincts to do it again and make that play. Okay, so let's keep the equity hidden and estimate some equities. Let's pick a random hand. Alright. So here are the 7. So probably around, what's the 5, 6, 7? Probably around 45%. There we go. So the 9, this is around 25% less. And anything less than 30% equity, you don't really want to be in the hand too often. Something like this is not really going to improve too well on the turn. You can play a turn card and try to calculate the equity here, see if we improve from 16%. Not many cards are going to help us here. A 10, a club, a 9. And that Doesn't really hurt our equity because he's not going to have a 5 here most of the time. So we're probably still at the same, a little less. Oh, terrible example. And if you press F1, we get a new hand. So here we go, bottom pair with the ace. This is something, so he's not going to have a 5 or 4 most of the time. He will have a queen about 20% of the time. So we are looking at around 50% equity here. Let's play a turn card, check it back. Good bet with 51% equity. Alright, that's definitely going to improve our equity. He's not going to have a 2, so we're probably looking at 55-60% now. And now would be a good time to bet. Let's get the EV. And he raised. So we are getting the proper EV to call. What is this? Pardon me. I have to restart my computer, I believe. I installed some things. So that was unexpected. He probably has a queen here, or a set, or a straight. Ace 3, ace queen. And by right clicking we can see his hand. So he's got nothing. A gut shot. Just a random raise. This would be a tough position to call, but it is what we are supposed to do here because he can't really have much. He didn't bet on the flop for the queen. He's unlikely to have an ace 3, so we'll call. Checks, obviously we can check back is the proper play. Getting EV to bet or call or check, but check would be the proper play. You don't really want to go all in if he re-raises you here with just the 4. And the 10 would hit him, so we are probably getting less than 50% equity, but the check is the proper play. So another range that doesn't really hit him, the 8-9. We do have the 10 jack, nice draw here. Our equity is over 50%, probably closer to 60%. Wow, way off. Okay. Bet is the play. And we take it. That was bad. So here I found that the equity changes when he bets. So I've put the hands only like by 2 to 5%, I found. Well, let's pick a little better hand. That one's interesting. The gut shot with the backdoor flush. Something like this is not uncommon. Calculating equity here is important. Less than 50%. Probably around 45%. 40. Alright, let's call and see if we can calculate the turn. Obviously a heart, an ace, a 9, 7, 8. That definitely does not help us. That hurts us to probably 30% or less. And so we should fold. This is definitely a good hand for us. He's not going to have a 6 or a 3 most of the time, possibly a flush draw. Usually overcards, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, king queen, and sometimes ace 9, king 9. So we're looking at around 55-60%. And the proper play is to check. That definitely helped us. Probably 60% plus, 75%. So we bet. Alright, here's an interesting one. Just the ace high. That is going to hit his range very often, so we're probably looking at, well, we have, yeah, maybe 35%. Yeah, far less. I'm not quite sure. I guess with all the draws out there, a bet. Alright, here, just the ace high, around 30%. A bet or a check is correct here. I prefer the check. He is going to have a jack or a queen and call. could have ace jack, ace queen. Obviously we would want a club, and that reduces our equity down to nothing, so we fold. Very low here, maybe 20%. Let's just use F8 and try to calculate here. Turn off the hints. Alright, what do you think the equity of aces is here? With a bet, looking at over 80%. Probably 85%. No, less. So he's likely to have ace king, ace jack. King jack is pretty rare. I mean, just as likely as ace king or ace jack, I suppose. Let's call. I believe call is the proper play. Pocket kings, pocket jacks, of course, which is usually the case when I'm in a hand like this. Of course, and check. Queen 10, it was a draw. Alright, so equity here, a little over 50%. He either has the ace about 20% of the time, and six or a deuce, hardly ever. So 50%, a check. And that actually helps our equity. Still about 50%. Well, since he bet, it lowers our equity. Still don't understand how that works. I'm gonna call. And a check. Alright. Probably around 40%. Really, that low? It is, check. Usually I'm not off by 20%. Alright, that definitely helped us. Probably queen 10, a little less than 50% here. Wow, I can't believe it's so low. I would imagine we have queen 10 club. Alright, what is it? 30%? Yeah. So a bet here could take it. And we hit the queen, so check it. Alright, just the 6, the jack, and the queen. This is going to be about 30%. Closer to 40. The check. Let's put it on hint mode, see if I make the correct play. Let it load. I would like to see this thing up against some expert high stakes heads up players to see how well it does. Well, excuse me. I'm no expert by any means. And also keep in mind, calculating equity in GTO theory is really only possible in heads up play. Equity here is similar, slightly less, very low, below 30%, 37%. Okay, so a check would be the correct play. And slight EV to, no. Very bad here. 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe that's around 35%. So I think the fold is the proper play. One card is the calling to see the turn is the play. So that definitely hurts us. Oops. Right, let's see. Let's go like this. Let's guess a few pre-flop equities. All right. So here, about a little under 50%. Gosh, 30% or less. 30%. You're gonna find a lot of 30% with a hand range as big as this against an opponent with a hand range that's playing 17%. 8, 6, 7 hearts, probably 30%. Oh, I hit the 8. Excuse me. Excuse me there. 6, 7, 8, 9. No heart. Around 35. 40. Okay, let's see if we can find any that's over 50% with a flop like this. Oh. No, 30%. 40%. Wow. So, 30%. There we go. That's definitely over 50%. 70%. So let's bet and see what happens here. No high cards is what you want in this situation. That's perfect. And that's not good. And he had jacks anyway. So here's very bad. Equity, probably less than 30%. Deuces again. Much better flop. Higher equity this time. Excuse me. Probably close to 50%. Probably 40. Wow, 50%. So betting here would be correct. Betting again. Yep. An interesting one. Just the draw, pretty much. Probably around 35%, 40%. So it does probably advocate a bet. With the draw. And the flush hits. The paired board is never good with a flush, though. Alright. So the queen with the king kicker. About 65%. 75. Yeah, check is the play. Alright, I think that improves our equity to around 90%. We have the 9, jack, the 10. Less than 50%, of course, probably around 40%. 30%, wow. Yet to call, just to see the turn if we hit our straight. Basically a 9 or a jack. So it does advocate a bet because that's not going to hit his range very often. And a bet again. 10 jack, queen, king, probably 40%. Top pair with the 10, about 60%, 65%, 75%. Yeah, I have to remember that these cards don't help him at all. So he's either got an ace, ace jack, ace queen, ace king, really, to beat us. And that's going to keep our equity similar, probably slightly improved, 50%. That should improve it as well. After he bets, though, it decreases. Call is the play. Yeah, ace king. Well, that's a monster. Probably around 80%, closer to 90%. Yeah. Definitely dropped around 75%, 85%. And now probably 65%. So we'll check. Pretty bad here. Ace high, probably 25%. Anything under like 35, 40%, you don't need to be super accurate. Whether it's 20% or 25%, you can just fold. in a position against a raiser with a 17% hand range. Here it's definitely above 50%, probably looking at around 75%, 80%. Really? Excuse me again. I mean, most likely here, ace 10, ace jack, pocket jacks, pocket tens. Yeah, that's not looking pretty. Yeah, I guess I'll fold. Let's check his hand. Ace jack. That's unfortunate. Ace on the river. Pretty bad here, less than 30%. Does say to bet. Usually when the flop is 9 below, something like this, you can bet and usually take it about 50% of the time. Not this case. You have to look at your opponent's statistics to fold a continuation bet. If the flop does look something like this, and they are playing in a range of 17% of hands, oftentimes they'll have ace king, ace queen, ace jack, king queen, and they're not going to play when a flop and turn come like this. So our equity's terrible. We can bet and bet again. And he finally folds. King 10 with the 9-10 jack. We need a queen, backdoor spades. Not very good here, 30%, but we are getting big equity on the turn if we hit our card. So it's worth a call at that price. That definitely hurts us more, and a bet is the play. Very bad here, probably less than 30%. Went down, then back up. I mean, that's not going to hurt us too bad, but what are we going to do here? That's around 40%, 30%. Obviously, he's going to check an ace or a king usually. And we don't have a spade, so proper play is to fold. Pretty bad here, 20%. I'll just get a new hand. So I have to wait for the turn for 10 minutes. Let's just play a new hand if this happens. Same flop, let's get a new flop. Alright, that's an interesting situation you don't like to find yourself in when you have queens. So equity here is over 50%, not by much. He's going to have a king here so often. 53%, that's right, with your queens. So you have to call though. That definitely reduces our equity probably to 30%, 40%. Check it. Wow, no ace or king. So the deuce is probably around 40%, 35%. Probably should have just got a new hand. Yeah, no clubs. Probably 20%, 40%. So it is saying to call, I'm sure. Oh, fold. Deuces again. Let's see what the equity is here. Probably 30%. He's gonna have ace or king a ton of times. I'd say 30%. Ace 10 here, probably 60%, 80%. Wow. Really? Yeah. under 30%. Under 20%. The king, backdoor clubs, jack kicker. This is about 50%. Ace jack, 75%. King, is that 50%? What was it? 60%. Ace 10, about 65%. 75, 80%, wow. Still not doing well. I gotta do this more and more to calculate. Alright, let's see a turn here and try and do a calculation. Still not a master at calculating equity. Alright, that's gonna improve our equity to probably 85%. There we go, got one. Small bet. And you'll notice now when he raises here, it reduces our equity. But we still have to call. And check. So we have flush draw. The jack, the 10 jack queen club, probably about 50% here, a little above. 0.3 above. We'll call. I believe bet is the proper play here. Or not. Now it's the proper play. Wow, we hit our 10. So we could have ace king. That would be unfortunate. We have ace king. The ace of hearts. Jeez. Let me pause the video while this idiot in the background, he's gone. Driving around, selling stuff. Okay, equity here, about 50%. And I wanted to do a couple hands in here for you just to, I don't know if in this video have I demonstrated how to do it in Equilab. This is what I used to use. The Poker Trainer. I just don't like the interface very much compared to this. Much more sleek design. And here you can only see the flop. And anything less than 30%. I usually just put it at 30% anyway. Oh, the 8. Yeah. I'm not paying attention, guys. I'm gonna take a break. Been going strong all morning since about 7 o'clock. Training for the past 4 hours. Played a bunch of hands in the simulator here on the button. How many hands did I play? Only 175. I'm up, doing pretty well. I'm playing this range against my opponent's 21% range. Let's check my optimal play. I've been playing with toggling between all three of these. I'll usually play show solution, then training mode, then no hints, and toggle between equity. So getting better and better. I'm surprised my win rate is so high with such a loose range. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you learned a thing or two about calculating equity. There's really no easy way to do it, just repetitiveness, practicing like this, especially if you're on like 4 or 6 tables online. You can't be sitting there saying, oh, my equity is 13.4%. So you just kind of have to know. Same with your EV. So that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back with another thrilling video in my poker training.